Hold up. Wait a minute.
Bruh.
Did you hit the like button? Drop some rabbits in the chat. Let's go.
Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. If you want the tea, come see me. Rabbit hole is the place to be for real news, not fake news. Celebrity news, breaking news around the clock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock, I rock, I rock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock. Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, chit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. True crime is my specialty. Exposing the industry. Unsolved mysteries. Sticking to reality. Fair use commentary. Talking about cults. Trying to get results. Exploring hopes. Exploring. Researching. Debunking. Investigating. Being nosy. Super nosy. Being messy. Being shady. Rabbit hole news. That's me. The chick with ADHD. Unmedicated. But quite educated. Hit that like. Hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat. Hit chat. Hit that like. Hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Hit that like. Hit that like. Let's go. Let's go. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Welcome. Let me make sure I got my camera on point. Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday, February 28th. My goodness. Happy New Year. Okay. Happy New Year. Shout out to everybody coming through. How's everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing well. It's a lot of stuff, a lot of going around the world. Okay. It really, really is. I hope you guys are taking care of each other. I am exhausted. I actually slept. I was really tired. I didn't realize how tired I was until I think I went to bed at like, I don't know, 8, close to 9, not close to 9. And that's early. That's early, right? And I was telling somebody, I said, the more you as you get older, you tend to appreciate rest. You value rest more as you get older. Whereas in my 20s, who goes to bed at 9? That's crazy work. Anyways, I'm getting there. Hey, everybody. Hey, Mark. How is everybody doing? Now, I got to shout out some people. I didn't have time to do a thumbnail. I wasn't even sure if we were going to go live, but it is what it is. We're here. You said, oh my gosh. You said I went to bed around 3 a.m. Ooh, yeah, much deserved. Like I said, as you get older, you tend to appreciate sleep a little bit more. But let me shout out some people. I have to shout out some people because some of y'all, I got some Amazon stuff for Baby Bunny. Her birthday is tomorrow. She will be 4. And oh my God, I told family that I wasn't going to do a live tomorrow. I'll probably upload a video, probably record it tonight and upload it tomorrow. So you guys will have something to watch. But Baby Bunny's birthday is tomorrow. And so I got a lot of stuff I got to get ready. So let me shout out, first of all, Abraham. Shout out to Abraham who sent a box. I think it was about a week and a half ago. Thank you, Abraham. Sarah Lynn, thank you so much for Baby Bunny's gift. That was so cute. Hold up. Now, Michelle, thank you so much for Baby Bunny's gift. I'm not going to read your last name. I try, I don't want to be doxing people and stuff like that. Thank you so much, Michelle. Appreciate it. And then let me shout out Mary. Thank you so much, Mary, for the Baby Bunny gift. So she's going to be opening some of that. And then Ria 27, thank you so much for the Baby Bunny gift as well. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Sylvia as well. Thank you guys. Yeah, so her birthday's tomorrow. We're just reminiscing. I can't believe she'll be 4 years old tomorrow. So crazy. Where has the time gone? It flies by for sure. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. So I was like, let me do it live. There's a couple of things I want to talk about. We're going to talk about a very young girl who was hit in the head with a metal water bottle. There was a lot of bullying and stuff like that. No, you're fine, Dee Dee. I appreciate it, and I'll make sure I shout you out. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Y'all know I appreciate everybody. Thank you. Hit the like button. That's all I ask. Um, so a young girl was hit in the head with a water bottle, and I guess it was like a bullying situation. So we're gonna get into that. She died. It was a bullying incident that happened in a school in Los Angeles. So we got to talk about that, and we got to talk about the Michael Jackson and Mark Geragos situation too, because that one I didn't know that Mark Geragos, what, like, there's some news about a new lawsuit that hit, right? About to the Michael Jackson estate. So we're going to get into that. But I didn't know that Mark Geragos had like switched sides, because for the longest time he's been like a huge Michael Jackson advocate. He defended him when he was alive, and now he's like on this other side. And so I mean, listen, I there should be something about people's ethics when it comes, especially like lawyer ethics. Like, damn, a lawyer's got to work and a lawyer's got to eat, don't get me wrong, but there should be something about, if you defend one side, I don't know if you're qualified or able to defend the other. It kind of just muddies the waters for me, maybe in the public side. I think that's what it is. We'll get into that, and then we're going to talk about more on Nancy Guthrie and other information and stuff that's you know coming about as far as her disappearance. The woman who was outside taking the photos, I guess, is like, I don't know, she's starting a true crime series or channel, and she wanted to she felt like, wow, this case is getting nationwide news. Let me go outside and film outside of Nancy Guthrie's house. So we got to get into that. We have a lot of stuff to get into. Okay. So why don't we get into this situation? And shout out to everybody. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button, please, and thank you. But I might shouted you out. Thank you, thank you, thank you again. Shout out to everybody. You said Belen drops the pancakes. Okay. This one we're gonna start right here because it kind of this is just an insane situation. Okay. So, very young girl, 12 years old, dies 10 days after bullying allegedly threw a water bottle at her head. Now, I was like, a water bottle? What do we like? Are we talking about like, what are those? I don't know if it's a water bottle anymore. Those big ones, Stanleys. Oh my God. You can find a bunch of them at Goodwill now. I guess that trend didn't last very long. I mean, it lasted for what, 2 years? There's still videos out there of people dressing up their Stanley cups. Like they're buying cute little things to it. Anyways, side note, not medicated, sorry, but kind of went into that. So those things are huge. You know what I mean? Those Stanley cups are huge. So, young girl, her name is Kimberly Zavaleta. Let me make sure I know how to say her last name. Chukuipa. Okay, that's how you say her last name. So she died February 25th after she underwent brain surgery. Very young, cute little baby girl. My goodness, man. So Kimberly died in a hospital after she underwent brain surgery tied to an incident that took place 10 days earlier, when she was allegedly hit in the head with a metal water bottle by another student in the hallway. The preteen family said she had many dreams for the future. So 12-year-old is dead following an apparent bullying incident. Kimberly died in the hospital Wednesday, February 25th, after she underwent brain surgery tied to the incident that took place 10 days earlier when she was allegedly hit in the head with a metal water bottle. Excuse me. By another student in the hallway. So Kimberly's family claims that the preteen suffered severe headaches in the days after the incident, but she was sent home when taken to the emergency room. Days later, the sixth grader returned to the hospital after collapsing due to a brain hemorrhage, the outlet reported. Major blood vessels in her brain ruptured, and she was rushed to UCLA. Oh my God. A children's hospital, placed in an induced coma. And underwent complex emergency surgeries. There's a GoFundMe page that was set up following up Kimberly's death, said her family remained by her side, praying and hoping she would come home. But at 3:30 a.m., her heart gave out. Oh, The Los Angeles Police Department, which is the LAPD, is investigating Kimberly's death as a homicide. According to KTLA, authorities have not released any other details surrounding the investigation at this time. On the GoFundMe, Kimberly's loved ones wrote, "As the baby of our family, she brought a special light and joy into our lives. She loved her family, music, volleyball, walks with her two beloved dogs, and had many dreams for the future." The fundraising page added, "This is just so sad." Kimberly's mom, Alma, told NBC4 Los Angeles, "I'm devastated. I'm full of pain thinking about how I will never see my daughter again. It's a cautionary tale that this should not happen to anybody's kids." This is what her uncle said. "It's a fear of every parent, every uncle, and every brother, and every loved one to lose someone, but especially when it's someone who is so young and did nothing wrong to anybody." The 12-year-old was a student at Resenda High, a charter school that educates students from 6th grade through 12. We're putting 6th graders all the way to high school through 12th grade, but this is a charter school, so keep that in mind. Why are we doing that? I thought there was a reason why there was a divide between the preteens and the actual teenagers. A memorial has been set up outside the school where many have gathered since. In a statement, a spokesperson for the Los Angeles Unified School District said per KTLA that the organization is deeply saddened by the death of Resende High student. Resende High School student. I don't know how I feel about that. Our thoughts and condolences are with the students' families, friends, and the entire community. The statement added, "Out of respect for the family and to protect the confidentiality, we cannot share details. More like to prevent a lawsuit and people going to jail, we just can't say shit." That's what it sounds like to me. The statement also said that the school district remains committed in providing support to students, staff, and families affected by this loss, including counseling services and additional resources on campus. The district takes the safety and well-being of our students very seriously. Yeah, you could tell. We're currently cooperating with law enforcement in connection with this incident. So the LAPD and the school did not immediately respond to people's requests for a comment Saturday, February 28th, which would be today. This just so freaking sad, but that is the question. Why do we have middle school and high schoolers together? But it's a charter school, so they can write their own rules, right? Like, they tend to write their own rules typically. Charter schools do. But why do we have this is a connection? Have you seen, you said mom is so soft spoken. This is such a sad situation. Now we got a classmate that I mean, anyways, let me just get to this. I have a lot of thoughts.
Students at Reseda High School are protesting today following the death of a classmate. Family members say the 12-year-old girl was hit in the head with a metal water bottle in a case of bullying. New at 4, Keenan Willard is live outside the school with the message her classmates are sending. Keenan.
Well, Annabelle, in just the last few minutes, this story so difficult has gotten even harder to watch. The family members of that 12-year-old girl arriving here to Reseda High School, where there's been a bit of a memorial that has grown after the protest from students out here. They've left out flowers and signs, messages saying things like "Justice for Kimberly." Now, you can only imagine what they're going through just a few days after this horrific loss for their family. Today, the message we heard from student protesters, they are demanding change and accountability after her death. In front of Reseda High School today, students raising their voices and holding signs and photos in memory of a classmate loved ones say died tragically.
This is terrible. These people are friends of the deceased, and it is truly horrifying.
The family of 12-year-old Kimberly Zavaleta says during a bullying incident at Reseda High School, another student threw a metal water bottle that hit Kimberly in the head. Loved ones say the girl ended up in the hospital, spending days in a coma and undergoing brain surgery before she ultimately died this week.
We're all sad because she was the one who gave all the energy to us because she was so happy. She was always happy. She was always smiling.
6th grader Diari Diaz says she was friends with Kimberly and organized the protest with the help of her mother, gathering classmates to honor the girl's memory and call for the school to take action against bullying.
Because we want justice for her. Because the school is not doing nothing.
NBC4 reached out to LAUSD for a response to the family's claims about Kimberly's death. The district says LAUSD is deeply saddened by the death of a Reseda High School student. Out of respect for the family and to protect confidentiality, we cannot share details. The district remains committed to providing support to students, staff, and families affected by this loss, including counseling services and additional resources on campus. Students demonstrating today say they'll keep speaking out, hoping to keep Kimberly's name alive and bring her justice.
Accountability, definitely. But not only for them, but also for the school.
And I think she's happy right now. And like, I know that she's with us right now.
Yeah, so much emotion here in front of Reseda High School today. Now, the district says that LAPD is now leading the investigation into the girl's death. We've reached out to police to ask for any information they've been able to turn up about the moments and circumstances leading up to this incident. We are waiting to hear back from investigators tonight. We're going to continue reporting on this situation in the hours and days ahead. For the moment, though, from Reseda, Keenan Willard, NBC4 News.
That is insane. Hold up. Now, oh, this makes me so mad. Joy says, I have a 7th grade grandson and I've been raising him since he was born. Has a high functioning autism, and he is bullied relentlessly. Never been invited to a birthday party, no friends, heartbreak. I am so sorry, y'all. Like, I am so sorry that Joey, I'm so sorry for you. Like, I don't know what it is, and all you can really think about is this. Like, sorry, I had to clear my throat. No family is perfect, right? Like, nobody's perfect. We all have our flaws. We're not perfect. Some of us come from, really bad situations and stuff like that, right? But let me tell you, man, like, you gotta have at least some home training and something. Like, some of these kids that you kind of have to wonder, like, what makes you think it's okay to hit somebody with a metal water bottle? What happened? What makes you think that you're like, what makes you think you can get physical with anybody? And that's the thing, is like, I feel like, we all go through something. I moved around a lot when I was a kid. So bullying was something that I was kind of like expecting. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of expect to be bullied, like when you're like the new kid all the time, because my parents moved around so much. And it was such a bad situation for me growing up that way. I mean, there was a lot of failures, I would say, that there was a lot that I didn't get from the education system. And then I later learned in life why. I didn't understand. But I was, I went when we moved to a different state, going from predominantly being in like a Latino environment to suddenly being the only Latino girl there. It was one of those things where I had a target on my back. And, I was subjected to, especially, as a young kid, a lot of like, racial things that happened to me. But it was those incidents that kind of shape how I interacted with people. Like, at some point I just got fed up, and then I became the person that bullied others. Like, it just shapes you in a way that you don't even expect that. And so some of that, like, it's weird because, y'all see some snark that I have, and it's always me just fighting back to that. It kind of comes from that. When you have kids like Joey, whose grandson, and they have, high functioning autism, and it's high functioning autism. My goodness. Like, yeah, there's certain things that just put a target on your back. You don't get invited to parties. You're not popular enough. You can't sit there. You can't do this. You can't do that. And so some of these kids are cruel, but you got to wonder, where are they learning this from? If it's not from home or whatever environment is happening, right? Where are you learning this from? Where did you learn that it's okay to hit somebody with the metal water bottle? Or to put hands on somebody? Where did you learn that? I'm so sorry, Joey, that your grandson has to go through that. And I wish I could say that it gets better, but it really doesn't. Like, there isn't enough educators that are willing to do something about it as well. Like, it's one of those things where they're passing the buck. And at the same time, it's hard because some of these educators are literally right there. They don't have a lot of resources, a lot of support and help or anything like that. Not enough, staff to student situation to address everything. It's a huge problem. But the way I see it is that if somebody's attacking you, you don't even, if somebody attacked this child wasn't fighting back. Let's just say she was just standing there. Suddenly you get hit in the head with a water bottle and you don't even see this coming. And I'm kind of like that. I was told, growing up, listen, you wait until they make the first hit and then you get the hands. And that's how I did it. I waited for somebody to do something stupid to me and then I would fight back. But it's like, I don't know, man. It's just, it doesn't get any better. It doesn't. I'll never forget the Columbine shooting. I think that's another, like, we keep having these things happen at these schools and stuff like that. It just doesn't even, I don't know, man. It does. I wish I could say that we have to have hope and we have to, reach out. And you as a parent and you, Joey, as your grandson's guardian, you're the best advocate. And let me tell you, man, even for my children, I'll there and I'll have some words with people if I find out that something's happening to my kid. And at one point my kid came home crying from school, and there was all this stuff going on, and I'll go back in there and say, hey, what's going on here? Well, this is what's being said. Let's follow up. Let's do something. Your parent is always the best advocate, right? And but like I said, I've always had this pushback, and even like for the longest time, I'd get this pushback from the school, and when you're just the best advocate. Nobody can advocate for your kids the way you do. So you do have to stand up for them. That's how it is, man. And Joey, shout out to you. Thank you so much for this $9.99. I'm so sorry. But we got to understand some of these children, where are you learning that it's okay to do this if it's not from your home? If you call me a derogatory name, where did you learn that if it wasn't from the environment in the home? So that means that your parents might feel this way about me, or they felt this way. It's almost like it's coming from somewhere. It's the truth. Science tells you that. It's just how it is. You're always told our girls don't throw the first punch, but you can. Oh yeah, yeah. You don't throw the first punch, but you can absolutely, and we will finish it, right? Like, not only am I doing this, but I'm gonna finish what you started, right? This is just how it is. Whew. Anyways, I'm sorry. It's situations like this that makes me so sad. The schools aren't safe. All of it. It's just so sad, man.
Tragic loss for a local family after they say a bullying incident at a middle school is linked to the death of a 12-year-old girl. Let's go to Fox 11's Rachel Aragon. She's live in Reseda with what led to the child's sudden medical emergency and the vigil being held tonight in her honor as well. I can't imagine how emotional that was, Rachel.
A very tough day indeed. In fact, a tough week for this family that's now speaking out, Marlon, because they say they want to shed light on bullying and want to make sure no family has to go through what they're going through at this moment. Take a look here. This is a photo of Kimberly, a 12-year-old girl, and her father when she was in the hospital and sadly dies just days after this photo was taken. Her family telling me she died after a school bullying incident at Reseda Middle School. Now, according to the girl's family, a metal bottle was thrown at her, striking her in the head, and then days after the incident, Kimberly said she had a really bad headache, was then rushed to the hospital, and ultimately underwent emergency brain surgery, but did not survive. This is Kimberly's uncle, who I spoke to earlier, who's like a second father to her,
Damn.
and he says bullying is absolutely unacceptable.
Maybe they waited too long too. I'm thinking if that's the issue as well. Like they waited too long to treat her. She was it was a hemorrhage, right? So ooh, it's just horrible. Anybody when you hit your head, anybody hitting you in the head, it's always like you got to keep an eye out because you don't know, any internal bleeding or anything like that. Like it's a real thing. People got to watch out. The head's very delicate, and damn, I just can't believe this, man.
And this is a very tough loss for this family. Take a listen.
It's the fear of every parent and every uncle and every brother and every loved one to lose someone, but especially when it's somebody so young that did nothing wrong to anybody, and she had no bad bone in her body, and it's just unfair.
Now, LA Unified School District sending out this statement.
That's bullshit. I'm sorry. This statement is so just BS. And like I said, it makes me mad. I think the other thing too is that it should always, in my opinion, and maybe you guys have an environment, it might be a good environment. Please know, I'm just speaking from experience. Your sixth graders should not be going to school with high schoolers. Okay. There's a reason why the cutoff is very important. Your sixth graders should not be going to high school or school with students of high school age. Y'all are like it's crazy work to do that. To combine that, I don't understand why that is okay. If you are, I mean, I would be on 10 on that one because I just don't, I don't trust it. I don't get it. You said, excuse me, you said they took her to the ER, but they were late released. Then she collapsed days later. Yeah. Your sixth graders should not be going to school with 12th graders. No way. It's horrible. That's right. Kindness starts at home. That's what I'm saying. I was like, no home training? Like what? You imagine? I mean, that's, you know, your hands are powerful, but a metal water bottle. I'm like, oh my God, like what are we talking about? A metal water bottle. You know, and then the way they make these like water bottles is like they're heavy, they're bulky, ridiculous. Now a metal one. Anyways, let me stop. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna say about that. It's a sad story overall. Okay, let's move on because I want us to talk about this Michael Jackson lawsuit. There's a new lawsuit to the Michael Jackson estate. Now, I will say this, okay? Excuse me. Personally, I don't feel like I am as well versed in the Michael Jackson, what's the word? There's just so many nuances to Michael Jackson in terms of like accusations that have been made, allegations that have been made before towards Michael Jackson. Okay. One of the, I think, documentaries that still kind of, I still remember and I have to kind of side eye to is the what is it? The one that HBO released that was done by that one director, HBO doc. Sorry, let me pull it up. I remember it was Safe Chuck and the other guy, Michael Jackson, and then Oprah Winfrey did a little sit down and interviewed them, and this was like a huge documentary. There it is, Leaving Neverland. Leaving Neverland, and it was a release in 2019, and it was a 2-part series. And then they did another one just recently, but it didn't get that much hype. It was on YouTube that they did this documentary. Now, here's the deal where I struggle, and I've said it before. That documentary, I think it was Dan Reed who directed, and it was like 4, 5, 6 hours of a documentary where it literally followed two of the men that made allegations against Michael. Now, I think it should be Wade Robson and James Safechuck. That's his name. The two guys. One of the things that I've struggled with, and again, I feel like I have a good understanding of victimology, but one of the things that I really struggle with is that, you know, there was when you go and you testify in court and you say one thing and then this man dies, okay, and you're, I guess, talking about this, but you've said that actually you were a victim and you lied while you were testifying in court. I personally think that that is always going to be a point of contention for a lot of people. And it's not that it doesn't happen where people that have been victimized lie to cover up for an alleged perpetrator, right? All of that. But it's just so sad to me that that like I don't know what to think about what happened when the trial occurred. I don't know what to think about, right? Well, how do you make of that? Where do you consolidate with that? Do you what do you believe? You said two, and to me it's like I don't even know if I feel like I know enough outside of what the documentary presented, right? But the problem that I have even with the documentary is like, wait a minute, like y'all, like you had the opportunity to and he died, and I get it. And some people get victimized and don't ever speak out on the issue. That does happen, right? But like, what happened here? And there's been so many contradictions, and there's been a lot of people. I mean, perjury is a crime, guys. Perjury is a crime. And there are many victims out here who take the stand and are not believed and still take the stand at the risk of being hurt, traumatized for life, but they still took the stand and stood on the truth that they said that happened. They don't perjure themselves. And that's the problem that I see with a lot of the stuff that has happened here. I don't know what to think. And what evidence do we have? Was he close to children? He had he was very close to children. Yes, he was. I mean, too close, right? Like, there's some stuff that I'm like, did anybody advise him not to do this? And it sounded like his family would tell him. But he had this like thing about, maybe because of his childhood, he didn't have enough. But then there's this other side where, again, people are saying, well, no, Rabbit. No, like, it happened this way. So to me, I respect your guys' opinion because I don't feel like I know enough. I don't know enough. Okay. But how does an attorney, and I didn't even know this was happening, but Mark Geragos, who we all know is a very high profile criminal defense attorney, right? I mean, his daughter, he was at he didn't, we don't know how he assisted, right? But his daughter did defend Diddy, okay, at the RICO case, and Diddy was essentially he was cleared from those charges, but not the other ones, right? So there's that. So Mark Geragos, so we know that he's very unapologetic about the cases that he takes on and stuff like that. He's always kind of been like that. He is very unapologetic. I mean, if he feels strongly about a defense of somebody, he's going to take it. So he is a high profile criminal defense attorney who did represent Michael Jackson between, I think it was 2003 to 2005. And this was during the early stages of the child M molest. Y'all know the word that I'm about to say. I can't say it all. Now, Geragos was eventually replaced, but they later did win $18 million judgment against a jet company for secretly taping his privileged conversation with Michael Jackson. Okay, so he's had some wins, but honestly, I was like, well, Mark Geragos being one of the loudest defenders of Michael Jackson, how did he switch up to the other side? I'm so confused. And the fans they don't like Geragos at this point. Okay, they don't. They have called him out as well. So Michael Jackson's estate sued for child stuff, okay, by siblings alleging more than a decade of abuse. I think the last name is it Cassios? Cassios? Siblings claim that they were supplied with drugs and alcohol, exposed to prawn, okay, and individually abused by the pop star. Now, Michael Jackson, again, there was 4 adult, now they're adults, but 4 adult siblings claimed that Michael Jackson abused them, and then they were minors and have filed a bombshell child trafficking lawsuit against the late musician's estate. The new complaint, filed Friday in federal court in Los Angeles, comes 1 month after the siblings, Frank, Dominic, Marie Nicole, and Aldo, appeared in a Beverly Hills courthouse. And this was amid a related effort to void a financial settlement with Jackson's estate that they describe as an unlawful agreement to silence victims of childhood SA. Reps for the estate asked the court to order the parties into arbitration, but the judge withheld a final ruling and set a follow-up hearing for March 5th. Now, Michael Jackson this is a quote, Michael Jackson was a serial CP person who, over the course of more than a decade, rug, ard, and essayed each of the plaintiffs, beginning when some were as young as 7 or 8. This is a 23-page lawsuit that apparently Rolling Stone has. I might see if I can get my hands on it to get an understanding of it. But a lot of these allegations, like I said, are historic. The complaint alleges that Jackson groomed and brainwashed the siblings into wealth, celebrity status, and network of employees and advisors, according to the lawsuit. Now, Jackson met the brothers and sisters through their father, who worked at a luxury hotel Jackson frequently visited. After gaining the family's trust with gifts, declarations of affection, sustained attention, Jackson allegedly isolated the children from responsible adults and, gave them stuff. Okay. The lawsuit is a desperate money grab by additional members of the family who have hopped on a bandwagon with their brother Frank, who is already being sued in arbitration for civil extortion. The family defended Michael Jackson for more than 25 years, attesting to his innocence of inappropriate conduct. This is Marty Singer. Y'all know who Marty Singer is? He is also a very much a defender and advocate, a strong advocate of Michael Jackson, but of course, a paid advocate. These people are paid, they're attorneys, right? After gaining the family's trust, hold up. Here it is. And Marty Singer, who has spent 25 years attesting to his innocence. Marty Singer, a lawyer for the Jackson estate, said in a statement to Rolling Stone, this new court filing is a transparent forum shopping tactic in their scheme to obtain hundreds of millions of dollars from Michael's estates and companies. Now, according to the new lawsuit, Jackson essayed Edward during an interstate and international travel, including stops connected to Dangerous World Tour, visits to Elizabeth Taylor home in Switzerland, and Elton John's residence in the UK, and at his new Neverland Ranch in Santa Barbara County. Now, Dominic claims that he was also abused in Florida, New Jersey, New York, France, and South Africa, including during the History World Tour at Neverland Ranch. Okay, so, and at the family's New Jersey home. Aldo contends that he was assaulted during international trips at Never Ranch, New York, at the family residence, at the video shoots and recording sessions. Marie Nicole claims that she was assaulted as well. Okay, so I never heard. Let me put a pin right here. If you were to talk about an MO, even in the documentary and all these allegations, I've never heard. This would be the first female, unless there's been other females that have made allegations against Michael Jackson that I'm not aware of. Put a one in the chat if you guys know of another female, because this is literally the first female that I have heard. Overall, anybody else? Did anybody hear us? RS is about as reliable as the Sun, Daily Mail, and TMZ. Well, and I get it, me Blondie, but we really talking about. Let's talk about the substance of the article, right? There is a lawsuit that they're reporting from. I've never heard of a female making allegations against MJ. Sorry, guys. The oldest came in here. The MO has been boys, right? So this would be the first. Okay, so if we're talking about MO, right? MO. That would be the first time I've ever heard of a female victim. Okay? So this is interesting. I think, these are kinds of things that you kind of pay attention to when you're looking into allegations. Like, typically somebody who is a serial artist of children, okay, or just a general, so you look at what patterns of behavior. If they're being described that way, what does that look like? In my understanding is that the majority of the victims have been boys of a certain age. And that after they age out, like, and what I mean, like after they've hit a certain milestone, which is what Safe Chuck, if I remember correctly, he had said that after he turned a certain age, he kind of there was nothing else. Even with Wade Robson as well, like it didn't continue on. So there's that, something to kind of keep in mind. All right. So furthermore, Marie Nicole claims that she was assaulted during a similar trip, including a Neverland Ranch and family home in New York, Las Vegas, and Florida. The filing also claims Jackson attempted an assault on Marie Nicole in another area. So the family previously referred to themselves as Jackson's second family. In a media interview, they were among his defenders during his criminal trial, which ended with an acquittal of charges of child SA in 2005. Now, Jackson did settle a different civil claim in 1994 while maintaining his innocence. After Jackson's death in 2009, Wade Robson, a choreographer, and then there's James Safechuck, a writer, actor, and director, stepped forward with claims Jackson molested them in the 1980s and 90s, sometimes during overnight stays at Neverland Land Ranch. Okay. And they gave those details in that documentary. Now, like I said, how do we process this more? You know, there are people, and I love you. I think we all have differences of opinion. There are people that feel like, well, if it's a celebrity, he must be guilty. Okay. There are people that feel like it's a victim. He or she's making the outcry. Believe all victims. Okay. And then there are people who say, you know what? I need to hear more information. I need to hear both sides. And then I need to make a maybe determination based on where I land. I'm right in the middle. I'm kind of like that. Where do you guys in the chat let me know, where do you land? Okay. Because like I said, a lot of this stuff is historic, but one of the things about a lot of these the victims that have made allegations, they typically supported Michael and then they don't. And it's one of those things that leaves the public kind of going back and forth. And the problem that I have with that too is that here's this, okay? Something to consider. If somebody is lying from the group, if there's a person that's lying, and then we actually have real victims, it only takes that one person that's lying to ruin it in terms of like for others to get justice, right? So if somebody is lying and gets the detail wrong, it literally takes that one person to determine how we feel about everybody's allegations, right? Something to consider. I didn't write the rules, but that's typically the pattern of behavior when people are making allegations, right? Right. Let me know. Are y'all okay in the chat? Nobody's fighting, right? MJ was exploited his entire life. Yes. Yeah, he's not perfect. That's for sure. He was exploited his entire life. You said, sadly, most PDs have a specific age range. Yes, most do. So something to kind of keep in mind. I don't believe Wade. People don't. I have no idea. I'm not even a fan. I just don't know if he was even active in that way, not even to conceive his own children. There's that. I'm just going to say, if you don't send your children to grown men's houses alone, you won't have a problem, period. People need to understand that this is a thing. You don't do that. That Rabbit, what you said, but I must say Rabbit has always responded to my emails, even when it had nothing to do with the videos. Just personal crap because she actually cares. Ronan, okay. What happened? Are y'all okay? I keep that at a minimum, though, as I know she's a busy lady. I'm so confused. I hope everything's going okay. In fact, that one person to make, it takes one person, and it does happen, guys. It does happen. It takes one person to kind of side-eye all the allegations. We have to own that. Even if you're pro and for, if you're on that side that I believe all victims, you have to understand how complicated this situation is, right? It takes one person to really get everybody like side-eyeing everybody, if that makes sense. You said that's really why victims need to come forward right away and not wait 30 years. And the problem with that too is that I hear what you're saying, Miss North Musings, but sometimes it takes people a while to come to terms with that. When you say, come forward now, coming forward publicly is like the hardest thing to do. Acknowledging something is very difficult, right? So, and like I said, I love having these conversations because it's like I have people here that don't agree with each other and I love it, but we have to hear the other side. You have to hear the other side to know, why are people thinking this way? Why? Where does that come from, right? You have to hear the other side. Believing all alleged victims is a good way to put people in prison who really didn't do it. A school teacher was acquitted recently because the cops told the victim to lie. Think about that. Yeah. Something to keep in mind. I have never believed he did any of this. We have heard so much of MJ during this, and I made from a juror type of standpoint that he didn't do it anyway. Whew. Greek lady, thank you so much for this. Just wanted to wish happy birthday to baby bunny. Happy birthday. Please use this on her next shopping trip. I will do that. I promise. Thank you, Greek lady. Thank you. Thank you. You said, I would take every allegation seriously, but MJ's particularly, it seems like a lot of people saw money after trusting him enough to let their kids spend the night with him. It's a lot, man. Why do grown men need to hang with children? Tinkle, I hope you're doing okay. I love you, Tinkle. We were thinking about you yesterday, by the way. You missed that conversation. I suggest you go back and look at it in the members chat. And thank you for the Cash App. I also have to put some of the blame on MJ. He knew, take Timothy Busfield right now. Not to make a comparison, because you can't really compare MJ to Timothy Busfield, right? Timothy Busfield, another situation, right? Where, there's different things that are happening here. He's having all kinds of allegations coming about. He's allowed to defend himself. Some people believe it, some people don't. I'm still like, well, even though the child said what they said in their initial interview, doesn't mean that a child, can't change their mind. A child is a child. Okay. I'm not talking about somebody who's 11 and then when they're 25, they said something and then they said something. Like, I'm talking about as far as consistency goes. You can't even really compare it. But let's talk about R. Kelly, for example. R. Kelly is another great example where, again, this falls on parents. R. Kelly is another example. Some of these parents in that R. Kelly camp knew, because in 2008, R. Kelly was facing some charges, right? Some of these parents, even after those charges and before, knew that R. Kelly had a specific type of a girl and a specific type of taste that he, that he was into, right? And they still provided access and opportunity for R. Kelly to victimize their daughters. I'm not making that up. This is a fact. Okay. And you still have, defenders of R. Kelly, and that is fine, because some of the people that believe R. Kelly is innocent, and this is the other side to this too. It goes back to Megyn Kelly, for example, what she said. Well, 13, I thought, I thought we were talking about 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds. We're talking about older teenage girls when it came to Epstein. You have these people in that mentality that truly believe that, oh, it's only a specific type of age that is a victim, right? Because everything after the age of 11 usually means that you are allowing it to happen when you're a child. So there's that. Like, it's something to kind of keep in mind. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's so many things that could be said about Michael Jackson and this situation. That's what I have to say about that. And we might not all agree with it, but we have to hear each other out, because it's crazy. Okay, hold up. Now, where were I was going somewhere with this. Hold up. Let me see if I can pull the Rolling Stone article again. So here it is. So, they're talking, ignoring threats from the Michael Jackson estate of financial ruins and faced with the estate's false public accusations of extortion line, the family has elected to remain silent no longer. King said in a statement to Rolling Stone, not only do they seek fair compensation for a decade of abuse in the entire family, they hope their filings will embolden other victims and enablers to come forward and shake off the shackles of shame. Okay. Yo, I don't even know. I don't know, man. And so then you have Mark Geragos, right? Let me see if I can pull the article. And I think it was TMZ who said it. Let me see. I think Diddy Docket posted it. Diddy Docket. Shout out to the Diddy Docket. Diddy Docket, and I'll show you the direct, because I was like in shock when I heard. I didn't know that he was representing anybody from the plaintiff. Here it is. Famed and shameless celebrity defense attorney and former Michael Jackson defender insider Mark Geragos files a lawsuit for a plaintiff against the Jackson estate alleging trafficking. He would know, huh? Now, this is actually being featured on TMZ as well. And again, him and Harvey Levin are like, they're tight. They're tight. Okay. Former family friends sue estate for trafficking, alleges abuse happened in famous friend's home. All right. So Marty Singer, again, is the attorney that represents the estate. The lawsuit is a desperate attempt for a money grab. That's what he's saying. And here we talked about Safe Chuck, let's see. Michael Jackson's former family friends are suing his estate for SA. No, the Michael Jackson Company for trafficking children by force and coercion. So they started naming all the places where some of this abuse occurred. That's what they're alleging. Okay. Now let me see if I can find Geragos. Here it is. Worth noting, the family, represented by Mark Geragos and Howard King, flew to Los Angeles last month to nullify the settlement. Marty Singer, the estate lawyer, claims the siblings were just trying to extort the estate. So now Mark Geragos is on the other side. Now he's representing these victims, these alleged victims. Whereas for the longest time, he was a defender. Where the money resides, he's going to go where the money resides. The lawyer's got to get paid. That, my friends, is like the worst op. You can't have any more words. I thought Verizon Wireless. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me out? Y'all remember when he was like the Verizon Wireless guy? When did that go viral? The Verizon Wireless guy. Hold on, Verizon Wireless. And he like hasn't had a job, or like did he go to T-Mobile? That was like the worst. The worst op. What was his name? Paul Masarilli. Can you hear me now? He was the Verizon guy. He was in the commercials from 2002 to 2011. Okay, he wore like the gray jacket, and then he like switched up. Where did he go? Did he go to T-Mobile? Anyways, oh, he switched up to Sprint. So that like this is like the worst op-up. You can't have it like that. No, said I've never believed anything that they've said about MJ. Everybody falls on that one, you know. It's how it is. That I don't understand as a victim what getting the estate so long after is going to benefit. But that's my own personal view as a victim who has testified in criminal court myself. Wow. And by the way, like that is like the most difficult thing you could do, right? Is to stand in court and testify and tell your story and have it pull apart by so many people. You know what I mean? So many people. Anyways, thank you for doing that. And, you were very brave for that because, like I said, it's not easy at all. Okay? At all. All right. We have to move on and we got to talk about this girl. I got to be careful because yesterday, Nancy Guthrie, of course, Nancy Guthrie has been gone for a month now, I think we could say. Or would it be a month tomorrow? Would it be a month? Today or tomorrow? Yeah. Oh, the Subway guy. I forgot about. Is he still in prison? The Subway guy. I forgot about him. Nancy Guthrie has been missing for 30. Well, there's no 31st in February, so I think today would be a month, right? Wouldn't it be considered? I can't believe she hasn't been found. Would it be a month? Because she was reported missing on the 1st, so it would be a month tomorrow. You're right. So yesterday, while the streamers were streaming outside and everything was going down, Lord have mercy, like there was this couple outside of the home, and we were kind of like, well, I guess they were doing like a photo shoot or something like that. There was a photo shoot or something, right? Outside of Nancy's house. I sat there and said, okay, so like I had to put a little cover on the lady because the lady is literally got her assets all out. They had a whole photo shoot right in front of the home, and it was all happening right in front of JLR's stream, and they were like a photo shoot or something. And I mean, you can't. I'm telling you, like I'm not really sure what was. All of it is worse, but like, listen, Linda. I sat there and I said, she left nothing to the imagination. So apparently what we found out, and I guess she gave a statement to her social media, thing. She felt like this was a perfect time for her to start a true crime channel or something by basically taking that attention, going out there, wearing something that would give you a wedgie would write up. I mean, you're just not living anything to the imagination, girl. This wasn't a situation where a woman who's 84 years old is missing and people are trying to find out what's going on. This was literally a clout chase moment for this woman. And I think she's like in the adult industry too. So apparently she wrote a post and she said, "Hi, tagged influencer here. Yes, that's me. But you're incorrect about my purpose. I was covering the case for my unlaunched true crime channel that I've been traveling the globe working on. Unfortunately, people like you want to capitalize off my body." Girl, get the she said people like us want to capitalize off her body. Girl, we're trying to cover you up. This is not Coachella. What are you doing? I sat there and said, "Oh my God." She really did say that. And you know what you know what makes me upset about this, guys, honestly? You know for a fact that she's going to get followers, right? Everybody knows that. You know she's going to get followers. You're going to have the raunchiest because people love a train wreck, guys. People love a train wreck. You're gonna get that. That's what they love. They love a train wreck. We love it when the train takes off, and we love it when the train, crashes. You know she's gonna get a following, right? Literally. You said whoever's next to super chat, I'll have my dog jump on my bed and wake up my ex, and I'll be like, "Wake up, bitch." Well, thank you, Tickle Tits, for the $4.99. You're so funny. Well, I mean, that's the only thing. This is bottom of the barrel bottom. Like, you can't get any more bottom than this. We already get, streamers out there. We get a bad rap. We get a bad name because we're talking about true crime and we do, coverage and stuff like that and give commentary. But girl, like you, what are you doing? Anyways, so unfortunately, people like you want to capitalize off my body, the way I dress, to get a storyline. You should focus on the issues at hand. Nancy's disappearance. Girl, not you telling us that we should focus on Nancy's disappearance. Let me tell you something. Let's not act like nobody, if I was in a car driving, I would be looking at the flat pancakes that she's got, because girl, like, you could just cover them up. Don't act like you didn't do all that to take away attention, because people are going to look at you. Like, that's what it is. I like, look, if there's a car accident, I'll be the first one to be like, "Oh, she should have hit the brake. You should have slowed down. What are you doing? This is that. So she literally said, you should focus on the issue at hand, Nancy's disappearance, rather than me and my outfit. The photo you're referring to are my thumbnails. Nice work today, though. I sat there and I said, oh no. Oh girl, you are like, whether you like somebody or hate somebody, clout is clout. I mean, that's what it is. So she was looking for a moment, and yeah, that's why she went out there. And it looks like it says she's a model. I've heard that she's a sex worker. Could be, I mean, career change. She's starting up a YouTube channel. She's going to do that. Yeah. Yeah, the flatjacks, Oh my God. Anyways, the issue at hand was your money hanging out your pants in front of the missing grandma's house. I mean, literally, I cannot, I'm focused on the disappearance of her cheeks now. Your assets should be, that's the true crime story. Girl, what happened to you? What happened? The disappearance of your assets. What happened to you, girl? No. Anyways, let me stop. If I was over there, and I told this to my chat on Discord, I said, guys, if I was over there, I don't know why JLR filmed it too. I would have been on JLR's ass as well. Like, why are you filming this girl? Why? I mean, I know that they're filming everybody that's showing up with a karaoke machine, everybody that's crying, I get it, right? But you literally, the only reason why a lot of us saw her and the guy was because y'all just really gave this woman the camera. You shouldn't have. You really shouldn't have. You should have just let it be. Okay. And now everybody's kind of going back and forth with this woman on Twitter. And I'm like, yeah, let's not like, if we're saying that this is wrong that she did that, then why are we I mean, that's what I would have said. I would have been like, girl, I'm not putting my camera right here so that if I'm streaming outside so that it gets you. Girl, what? Go work for it. And please put some clothes on while you're at it. No. I would have removed that camera from there. The karaoke, yes, she brought out of the karaoke machine. She did. So there's that. It really is sickening. I mean, but hey, man, anything for clout. Anything for clout. That's what, that's the game now. That is the game. Now, anyways, moving on from that train wreck. So there was interesting things happened last night. I was on Duty Ron's channel and I was watching because Duty Ron actually brought in a Pima County sheriff who worked in Pima County, and they literally talked about the sheriff, okay, Nanos, and his work. And I was like, wow, because he really had some inside information. And seeing two police officers kind of talk about, or law enforcement kind of talk about things going back and forth and what went wrong, that was a really good interview. I was like, wow, I would play it, but I don't want to. I would suggest you guys go watch it on Duty Ron's channel. He had the guy kind of give details about the dynamics of working with Nanos, and how Nanos is just horrible leadership and stuff like that and whatnot. So yeah, you kind of have to understand a little bit of what's going on. Let me see. Jared is so annoying. Let's see. Tink, I cannot stand him after he came to my state and disrespected the Summer Wells investigation in Tennessee. It's a lot. You said, was she planning a block party? See, that's why everybody was everybody was getting a bad rap. Brian Enta had someone like that on his show. The man was not a fan of Team Brittany. So it was, I would say it's kind of like somebody who had worked with Sheriff Nanos before. So I thought that was interesting. I love that they were bringing, law enforcement that have actually worked in the agency and actually worked with some of these folks that are, that understand the ins and outs and understand about that working dynamic and relationship. We don't have a lot of that. There's only a couple that can really speak to that, if that makes sense. You said, look forward to what Nancy will think of all of this when she gets home. I'm willing to, I hear you. No, I don't know. Is he head of the union, Cammy? Well, let me show you. I'm not going to play his, because I think Duty Ron will strike. And I don't want to do that too. I don't want to get a strike from Duty Ron. I actually do like him. There was a lot of stuff that happened with the Lauren Matthias stuff, but I think he was just defending a friend, and that's fine. People do that. They're allowed to. But this is what I'm talking about. This one right here, y'all. This one, Nancy Guthrie case. FBI takes over. Pima sheriff under fire, day 27. He interviews he interviewed this guy right here. I don't think he's the head of the union, but it was a very informative interview, and I would suggest you guys go watch, because I was like taken back and whatnot. Yeah, I like them both. Who you talk about? They should have been bigger, man. They're not big enough. He did 30 years. That's right, Tatted Artist. So I did see that interview with Brian Ensign. It was really good. But this one, I recommend you guys see it, because it was interesting to see like law enforcement talk about the dynamics of that investigation. So anyway, so there's a former FBI agent, who discusses why a prosecutor went to the house. And I was thinking about this too. I was like, it kind of left us stuck. And maybe like you're having prosecutors go to a house when we haven't found her and we don't even know who the alleged, perpetrator is. So let me go right here to this point right here.
Does that signal anything to you about this case?
Well, one of the important things for prosecutors is that if they ultimately charge somebody, it's really important to know sort of where the crime initially occurred. And so it's, in my experience, it was very common for me to take prosecutors to a scene just so they could physically see, oh, the bedroom's here, the front porch is here. This is how you'd go out the back door if that's relevant. So that as they talk about it in a potential trial, months or years from now, they know they've seen it. So that, that's part of it. And it may allow law enforcement and the FBI to sort of tell them, okay, we found the DNA that they've talked about at this location, to give them an idea, is that even logical that a potential bad guy touched something in that location, that type of thing. It goes to relevance, obviously, to a certain extent. So that doesn't surprise me that the prosecutors walk through and that they have or are about to sign the house back over to the family.
Yeah. When we're talking about this case in the last few days, we've seen some ring footage of a street. And obviously it sounds like outside of that kind of 2-mile radius that the Pima County Sheriff's Department was kind of really focused on when it comes to video. Obviously, they're asking for video beyond that as well, anything suspicious. But right now, we don't really know the relevance of this video. And it's kind of tough to tell what car is driving by. I mean, do you think this could help the case?
So one of the things you do in a case is try to capture any movement through cameras, through license plate readers.
That new video, I do wonder what they came out of that overall. Belen, did you just get 5 memberships, guys? If you've been gifted, put some hearts in the chat. Thank you, Belen. And Ronan, I missed your super sticker. Thank you so much, Ronan, for your super sticker. Wake up, Bish. There you go, Tinkle. There you go. There's that super chat you were asking for. Barbara Bish, thank you so much for the $19.99, my love. Thank you. Happy Saturday. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you, Barbara Bish. We got FBI agents out there, prosecutors. We don't know exactly what happened, but they believe the actual crime scene, or at least what happened to Nancy, occurred in that house, which would make sense with the blood and everything. But something to kind of keep in mind, why a bunch of agents would be out there.
Whatever it might be, in sort of a critical zone of, approximately what time the guy at the front door arrives at the house. You approximately know what time Nancy's pacemaker stops receiving a signal. And so, that's obviously a critical time of potential movement, both of the bad guy and Nancy. And so anything that you can capture, because, how many people in this part of Tucson are driving around at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning? Probably not a lot of people. And so just capturing every vehicle you can within a reasonable proximity. And so what you can do is, if you do come up with a car, but let's say you just have a side shot of it, which would be pretty typical off a doorbell camera, you then may be able to piece that together with license plate readers or other cameras that would be shooting the direction that this car was allegedly traveling. So there might be a way you could piece it together where the actual doorbell camera video may not help you a whole lot, other than maybe to possibly ID what type of car it is.
When we think about the DNA analysis, we've heard so many times that is still taking place. What do you make of the fact that we really don't have any updates on the front when it comes to DNA?
This is crazy work. Is like, look how much we're working. And one thing that I also learned in Duty Ron's live stream, did you guys know that there was a mat that was left? Like the mat, there was like a doormat. Somebody's footprints are there, right? Like when they had already cleared the crime scene, there was a doormat that was left there. It's crazy.
Well, the problem with DNA, obviously, is that you have to have DNA of the bad guy. And would they, if they had decent DNA, did they run it through CODIS? Probably. I think they said they did. Because they've talked about 2 potential DNAs, one in the house and one in a glove they found some distance from the house. I'm going to assume, because they haven't said anything about either one of those DNAs, that A, they have them, but B, they can't match them to anybody because that person is not in the databases readily available. Now, they also can take those 2 DNAs and start plugging them in to genetic genealogy. In other words, these genealogy sites where people sign up to run down relatives, etc. That could have potential in building family trees of those two DNAs. The real question is that even the bad guy? It could be the plumber that was in Nancy's house 6 months ago, something like that. And the other glove could be one of us walking our dogs. So we'll see where that goes.
Ooh.
Yeah. We saw that there is a $1 million reward, and the FBI.
So no cameras, no dogs. I just feel like no information. She did get a private investigator. What happened with that? Any updates on that? We have no idea, dude. I thought they put out there they didn't have enough DNA for a profile. They'd be putting stuff in there. I'm just like, I don't even know what's new, what's real at this point. Like, we're okay, like a month tomorrow. Where did they put this 84-year-old woman? What happened and why? Why? And you have sources right now like KOLD reporting that the PIMA is refocusing resources in Nancy Guthrie investigation. What do they mean by refocusing? They weren't focused before? I'm so confused by this. Like, I mean, they're all kind of all over the place with this. The Piedmont County Sheriff's Department said Friday, February 27th. Ooh, my camera died. Hold up, y'all. Gotta change the battery. And I'll change it right now. That they are refocusing resources in the Nancy Guthrie investigation. The Piedmont County said that while the investigation will continue until Nancy Guthrie is found, all leads are exhausted, it is refocusing resources to detectives specifically assigned to the case. I don't know what that means. That sounds like, of course, cop talk, I thought everything was allocated there. I mean, they're getting tips every day, but are the tips leading to somewhere? Is anything coming out of the stuff? And then why is it that, here's the other question that I have. Why is it that when people find footage and stuff like that, it's almost like it's going to the media instead of just going directly to law enforcement? I find that to be very suspect too, guys, that immediately it goes to media instead of law enforcement. And somehow it's become law enforcement or media reported it first, and law enforcement is just now looking into it. This seems to be the trend here now, which is a bit disturbing in my opinion. I mean, that's what happened with that car Ring camera. Now let me hit play on this. I'm connecting my camera as we speak, y'all.
FBI has said they've gotten more tips in since Savannah Guthrie actually announced that reward. How time consuming can it be though to go through all of these tips?
One thing about tips in particular, where there's a big reward and it's a high profile case, is you're going to get a voluminous number of tips, of which a vast majority of them won't be worth anything. And so some of them you can just quickly eliminate because they may be people's opinions about what happened. But the ones that you were able to narrow down to a name, a location, a car, a place that Nancy might be, those kind of things, you can check them out. And sometimes people report information that they have, but they only know about 10% of what actually happened. And so you have to be careful not to discount that, because if you can take that 10% and add other pieces that you have, you may be able to come up with a car, with an address, with a name. It can be very painstaking, and nothing like on television where everything is exciting in law enforcement. Basically what solves cases is stuff just like this. It's almost like minutia, but you pull it together and you turn minutia into something real. And that's probably, short of getting the correct tip, is how this case will go together.
We heard this week that the FBI has moved some of their work that they're doing here to Phoenix. There's still work being done in Tucson, though. We are now almost a month into this case. I mean, realistically, what happens next if we don't get that needed tip here pretty quickly?
Well, the thing about cases, once they turn basically days into weeks, and then unfortunately maybe to months, is that you still have people dedicated to work them, but there's not the profile to it anymore, because it's basically, as you get leads, you work them. You may develop new leads on your own based on people you talk to. It just really depends. But there'll be a core element, I assume, of agents and detectives that will continue to work the leads. Because the beginning of a case like this obviously requires a lot of manpower, technology, crime scene techs. It just goes on and on. Surveillance planes, maybe helicopters, but there becomes a point where you don't need all of that. And obviously there's other cases for them to work on. So dispersing after a period of time like this is fairly common.
It's just crazy, man. And then here you have, hold up, let me show you guys, Brian Enton, the refocusing thing, refocusing.
Hey guys, so I'm about to walk. I was telling you guys it's about to get really dark, by the way. So I kind of wanted to show you how dark it is out here. I'm about to walk to Nancy Guthrie's house. Remember, we're not allowed to park on the street. So we had to find some neighbors who would let us park in their driveways. And there's actually a couple now. A ton came out today, and they're like, "Oh, you guys can park in our driveway," and some are much closer to Nancy's house. But you can see like how dark it is in this neighborhood. There's a full moon, almost a full moon, out here tonight, so that adds a lot of light. And the stars are really, really beautiful here, which is pretty cool. Because they have this light ordinance, so people can't. There's no street lights, and you can't have any bright lights, so you can see the stars. It's really, really pretty out here. I always look at them every night, and it was cloudy the past couple nights, but tonight it's like totally clear skies.
You said refocusing is a polite way of saying that they're scaling down number of detectives. Whew. You said I've heard many people say something like the case breaks after all the hoopla dies down and investigators can focus without the higher ups screwing things up. Huh.
So there weren't a ton of developments today with Nancy Guthrie, unfortunately. The house has officially been turned back over to the family. So, like, there's no more Pima County Sheriff's deputy outside guarding the house anymore. So that's totally done. We saw, like, contractors come and put up surveillance cameras and, like, installing an alarm system. And I'm assuming just because the family knows that no one's going to be there and they know there's a lot of people driving by and stuff and walking around. So they probably just wanted to get extra security. So that's, yeah, I wish the Pima County Sheriff, one thing they did say today is they're kind of changing resources around on the case. I think they're putting some detectives on it full time, but taking some others off. FBI says they're moving some of the agents back to Phoenix, but that they still have a lot on the ground here in Tucson. I mean, none of it seems good in terms of progress being made. It feels a little bit like things are at a standstill. But again, with other stories I've covered, like even with Koberger, it just came out of nowhere. Like suddenly I got a tip. Someone was arrested in Pennsylvania, connected to the Idaho murders, and boom, everything changed. And there were some very slow weeks there too. So I know everybody's anxious for some kind of resolution, but it just is going to take some time, I think. So anyway, I'm going to walk back over to Nancy's. I just saw a coyote when I was driving in, which was kind of cool. And there's also the like the little hogs. I forget what they're called. And they had their babies right now.
The
I saw
hogs?
some like mom with a baby with a bunch of.
What are they called, guys? You said the hogs. What are they called? You said the hogs with the babies? I forgot. There's a name for this animal. What the hell? We said it last time, and I forgot what it was called. And they're kind of scary because they chase you.
Babies. And one of the other neighbors was telling me that it's like starting to become rattlesnake season soon because it's been heating up. So hey guys, so I'm about to walk.
This is crazy, man. Crazy situation. Javelinas? Akuta Matata. Not Pumbaa. I forgot that there's a name for these things. Anyways, let me stop. Is that what javelinas or javelinas or what? What are they called? Anyways. The case is close to being cold. That it's literally, Mark, you can't even. It's too much. Pumbas, yeah, the Pumbas. He said the Pumbas have babies. Let me stop. Y'all are funny. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna let you guys go because I gotta go and do the cake stuff, and I got stuff that I gotta la Pumbas. They're called Pumbas. Javelina, not Java. It's javelinas. Thank you, BJ. Y'all try to make me say things wrong. I'm gonna call them Pumbas. The Pumbas. I gotta go and because it's baby buddy's birthday tomorrow, so I gotta go and fix that. I might be live later tonight, depending if something breaks. If not, I might focus on maybe recording some videos. I got stuff. I have like recordings I gotta update and different things I'm doing. So I gotta work on that. But yeah, the mama hog will rip you apart if you take. Ain't nobody trying to take no babies. You keep those babies. I don't want to take any of the little Pumbas. I'm good. All right, guys. Well, I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys so much for hitting that like button. Shout out to everybody that supported today. Thank you. Also, thank you, Tico Tits, for the the Cash App as well. I'm gonna go and put that towards the baby cake. Towards the cake. We'll do that for baby bunny, because she got to have a little princess cake or something. She got to have something. All right, guys. You guys have a good one. And I will see you guys later on, maybe. All right. Bye, guys. Bye.